Well, look at that. Here we are live from the bomb shop here. This is our return to, I guess, the internet, streaming and so forth. And this is our first opportunity to be on Twitch. So we are, we're going to show you guys some stuff that we've been working on. I've got the cameras set up here in the studio, and Vicky's working on the painting station back here. So I guess we're gonna see who all's gonna come and join us. Chris V has just logged in. Hey, thanks for coming and checking out our little stream here. There's been a lot of stuff going on at the bomb shop since our last Saturday morning serial episode, which was a couple of years ago. I had started putting together some videos sort of around the shop about some of the things that we were doing, projects that we were working on and things. But because we had crappy internet service and so forth, it sort of put a halt to putting videos together and uploading them, because it ate up a big chunk of space on our limited internet data that we had. So I think when we had HughesNet before, we were limited to about 30 gigabytes, and so doing streaming or uploading videos or anything, that takes up a lot of data. And when we have STL files to upload and web store to update and upload pictures and all that, 30 gigabytes gets burned up really quick. When I was talking to a couple of my sculptor buddies, Bill Thornhill and Tom Mason, a couple of weeks ago, we were doing a little Skype chat in order to test out the system here. And when I was streaming with them, I did a check after the show, and it just about an hour of talking with them was like 5 gigabytes. So I figured, well, we need to update our internet stuff if we were going to do. If we were going to get back to streaming stuff and showing you guys video content, from the shop here. So let's see, we've got the little chat set up, and when you guys, come in and check it out and say hi, it'll show up over here for you. Graywolf Studio. Well, look at that. Hey, Dave, thanks for jumping in, buddy.
Hey, everybody.
Woohoo! Well, I'm glad you guys could pop in and join us. Hopefully Brandon's with you, and he'll be hopping on, later on. And we can talk about some counterblast stuff and let you guys know what's going on with that. I wanted to kind of pop over to the YouTube channel and look at where we left off the last time.
No.
Well, that doesn't sound good.
That doesn't sound good. I better go check on that.
You might want to go check on that. We
have a new addition.
Yeah, Dave and Brandon say hi, Vicky.
Hey. Hey, Dave. Hey, Brandon. Hey, everybody else.
Howdy, Internet. And welcome to Bombshell Miniatures here. And welcome to the return to Saturday morning cereal. Vicky and I have already had our cereal this morning, and I hope you guys have already had some breakfast. We had a little. My cereal now consists of yogurt and granola, so it's not really like the stuff that I had as a kid. So and Vicky did the instant oatmeal. But what she went to check on, we just heard there was a little crash back in the packing room. And yesterday, she came across a new little critter that was hanging around out in the front. And of course, it's been freezing cold out there for a week. So she went out to put some stuff in the mailbox, and, off to the side of the property, there's an easement where there's a separation between us and the people next door, where there's a lot of trees and scrub and stuff, and there was a little kitten in there who has survived, the freezing cold. So, hey, thanks for jumping in. Bloodthorn Zero. Hi. Man, it's good to have you guys coming in and checking us out. But this little kitten that we kind of rescued from the freezing cold, we put her out here in the shop and gave her a little comfy place and put some food down and stuff. And, you know, before we put her back into general population with the cats up at the house, there's some stuff that we're going to have to do, you know, take her to the vet and get her checked out and all this. She looks like she's about, I want to say between 3 and 4 months old. So, oh, Brandon is Bloodthorn Zero. Okay. All right. See, with you guys with internet handles and stuff, yeah, it's like I don't know who you are. So, awesome. I'm glad to have you guys hanging out with us this morning. Basically, let me kind of go over a little bit what we're going to be doing on the Saturday morning serial things. If you guys have watched any of the episodes that we had before, those are archived over on YouTube, and we did, I think there's about 4 or 5 of them. That's what I was trying to look up, is to see where we actually had gotten to on Saturday morning serial with the other episodes. And so, actually what I want to do is look at, no, that's not what I want to do. Okay. So, yeah, that's not it. Okay. All right. It looks like there's about 5 episodes over there that you guys can go check out from 2020, which are the previous Saturday morning serial episodes that we did. So this is actually going to be episode 6 in that series. And I had left off at a cliffhanger the last time, where I had shown a bunch of molding techniques. It's like, well, here's how we do the mold making and so forth, and I hadn't actually gotten up to the point where, you know, we were cutting the molds open and doing any casting and that type of stuff. So I did actually find some footage that we had, and I'll run that for you guys here in a little bit to give some folks a little bit of time to kind of log in and everything. And we'll look at, you know, how we cut those molds open. You know, I know it's like a 2-year cliffhanger, you know, to see what was next on that. But anyway, but here let me show you what we got here. This was who Vicky found. Now, you want to tell them about who this is?
Okay.
Okay.
Well, everybody, this is Lilu. This is Lilu, and the reason Pat named her. He's good at naming our cats. Yesterday, I was putting some packages out in the mailbox to go out, and there's a piece of easement property in between our property and the people to the west of us. And it's real overgrown, and it has like a bunch of trees and a bunch of real high brush and grass and everything. And so when I was walking up by there to the mailbox, I hear this little meow, and I'm thinking, well, was that a bird? Because sometimes birds make noises that sound like mews. And then when I came back, I was looking over there, and I heard it again. And I was like, well, where are you? And I see this little head pop up, and I was like, oh, what are you doing? And without any hesitation whatsoever, she makes a direct beeline to me and climbs up my leg into my arms.
And she's good at climbing up your leg for sure. Come here. Hey, come here.
She's she's got a lot of, I think she's got, like, if you're playing Savage World, she's got like a D12 plus 1 in that or something, because she's really good at it. And anyway, so it was, I don't know if y'all are knowing what's going on with our weather here. We're having some crazy freezing weather for Texas, and I just couldn't leave her out there because I just couldn't. So I was like, man, it's freezing cold. This poor little thing, she's gonna freeze. And so I took her up to the shop and knocked on the door to get Pat to come see her, and he's like, yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. So I guess we have another cat now, and Pat named her Lilu because, well, she's orange and white. She dropped in on us out of nowhere, and she's like the 5th of our little group. So she's the 5th element. Yeah. So, anyway, and she's She's a cutie.
Well, just make yourself at home, baby girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, anyway.
Yeah, she does recognize, cat people. So that's for sure.
Yeah. She's
a multipass.
Multipass.
We'll have to get a little multipass collar for her and hang it around her neck. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Can you say multipass? Can you say multipass? No, she can't say that.
She's very vocal though. She will talk to you quite a bit. So she's she doesn't mind speaking her mind. So
yeah. But anyway, so it's been kind of difficult to get stuff set up here this morning because she's been into everything, crawling on stuff.
Yeah, I think she recognized me as like, oh yeah, she's a big old softie. You've got it made if you run over to her.
Right. And Dave says she's not too far from Dallas either. So
yeah, no, that's true.
She's Lulu Dallas.
Yeah, Lulu Dallas. That's right. But thank y'all. That's I hope that Shastan and Natiri are as welcoming of her. We'll have to see. Yeah. Because I know Shastan annoys the heck out of Natiri, so I'm sure she's going to be like, great. Now we have another younger, crazy acting one. So
yeah, those aren't for you. Okay. All right. Well, now we've gotten the Lilu portion of this. Did we stop?
She's touching stuff.
Well, no, it's okay. No, she's just laying right here. She was laying down.
Well, it was kind of messing with your menu over there. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
And if she jumps down on your keyboard, who knows what's happening?
Yeah, that might.
Yeah, y'all be prepared. We may experience technical difficulties.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you sit down? Okay. All right. But anyway, so let's go ahead and I'm going to show you guys this little clip that I found so we can kind of cover the our mold stuff. Okay, in the last episode that we had like a couple of years ago, I was showing you guys mold making. Here, would you get her?
Yeah, I'll have
okay.
to.
All right.
Okay. Say so long to everybody for now.
Bye, Lulu.
Lulu. Bye, Lulu.
So okay.
Big bada boom. Big bada boom.
Big bada boom.
Big bada boom.
Yeah, so anyway, let's take a look at this clip. Now it's kind of just a couple of minutes, but it's basically so in the last episode we were showing, okay, well here's us boxing up the prints, and actually we kind of changed our production pipeline a little bit for making minis and getting the masters and stuff made than we had in that last episode, and so I will probably go through and show you guys sort of the updated stuff. But like in the last one, we were talking about, we were having Vision Proto, print our master prints, and that was expensive and so forth. I mean, the quality is super great, but now that we've gotten the Sonic Mini 4K, it's pretty comparable, and I've put the prints up side by side, and once they've been molded and cast, you can't really tell the difference between which print was printed on what printer. So so we were showing last time that it's like, well, we'd have Vision Proto print those sculpt files, and then they would send them to us, and then we would make a little mold and cast that one printed part, and then we would make multiples of that in order to sprue up to make a production mold, and that would have like 3 or 4, multiple pieces of the same piece, so that we could cast, lots of them at a time in order to have the inventory that we wanted. Okay, so in this instance, now what we've gone to is, since we have our own printers and we can do that stuff here, I've been going to, sprueing up once the sculpts are done, I'll sprue up the pieces and print those out as as a complete thing. And we can print out as many of them as we want. So basically the castings that we're getting off of that now are kind of first generation castings. So like production castings that you get from other places, they go through that intermediate stage where it's like, well, if there's a practical sculpt, if it's putty or a traditional sculpt, it will, there will be one of them, and then that'll need to be cast. And then in order to make a production mold where you want lots of the same part to cast, a lot of them to sell, then you would have to, make multiples, or you'd have to make a mold of that second generation castings. So with this being able to print the master prints out, directly, and then putting them directly on mold, it saves that step. And so we can just make production molds, right off of directly off of the prints now. So that's been a big time saver for us, and a big expense, reduction in expenses, and it's allowed us to be able to turn around stuff a lot faster, because just as soon as I get finished sculpting something, it's like, well, once it's printed, we can go ahead and make molds and put that out. And so there's been a lot of sculpts that have been sitting around in the archives that I had sculpted for the Bikes and Bots project and so forth, that it's like, well, we're trying to kind of work through those and get those to where we can output them for production. So the little clip that I'm going to show you here is me basically just cutting one of those production molds. And I think this is the base for the 75 millimeter Kai kit. So okay. I don't know if you guys got any of that audio and stuff on that, so we'll have to check that later. But anyway, so I'm gonna kind of start over again a little bit on that. The mold that I'm cutting open, that I'm using that zigzag cut for, allows the mold to fit back together, so that once it's been opened, it'll create keys so that there won't be like mold slippage or what they call shift. And you've probably gotten miniatures before where there's like around where the mold lines are. Are you getting audio now?
No audio. Chris says no audio.
Yeah. Well, I just switched the mic back over. It's like, well, this, all of our first shows are going to have at least, a glitch or two.
Are they getting audio now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're getting audio now. Okay.
From you, yes. Oh, okay.
Right. So rather than start the video from the beginning, I'll just tell you guys, since there was a big blank space there. That zigzag cut that you see me doing on there, yeah, that's to create the keys and so forth, so that the mold fits back together. And you can see there that that'll prevent mold slippage or shift, so that, like, if you guys have gotten many miniatures before where there's like a big shelf or step around the mold line, there's a big edge along that. That'll kind of prevent that from happening. So, anyway, so we're back. So that's basically how I cut those molds open, and like I was talking about before, if we're trying to cast like a bunch of something, it's like, well, we can take and print out multiple parts, like you saw the base. It's like I'll print like 3 or 4 of those. We'll box them up and make molds and so forth, and then cut those open. And then if we need to make more molds later, then it's just a matter of making more mold boxes and pouring that silicone for those additional molds. So even if we print like 2 or 3 parts, we can make more and more molds out of that as we need them. The thing about the silicone is that it'll you can cast so much of it, and then eventually they'll wear out and they'll have to be replaced. And right now we're getting to, I've already replaced some of the molds that we did on the Babes 4 project, because the Babes 4 Kickstarter project was the first one that we ran where I sculpted all of the characters digitally. So the babes in that were let's see, what was it, Terra the Blade Mistress and Necrolia, and a bunch of those characters and so forth. Sarah and Urgoth, yeah. And actually, out of all of that, Terra, Sarah, and Urgoth, I think those were the most popular ones. And so I've had to go back and actually remake those molds. So we had cast resin masters for those off of the original prints that we got from Vision Proto. And so now what I'd like to be able to do is go back and kind of reprint those masters as first generation prints off of the new Frozen Sonic printer, and make new production molds for those. So we'll probably be doing that this summer and so forth, but we'll kind of have to see how that goes. I know there's some other sidekicks and things that we need to make some replacement molds for and all that. So because the more that you cast them, they'll get kind of crusty on the inside. Like the silicone, when it heats up against the resin, will crystallize over time, and so you get about, let's say, 25 to 30 of them or so before it needs to be replaced. So, but what we've been working on this week is trying to get some more stuff done for the Kickstarter, the Scout Ship Kickstarter project. And we got the Strafer parts. Those have all been molded at this point.
Yeah, you just got to cut those molds open.
Right, yeah. So those are sitting in there waiting to be cut. And then I can start running castings of the
Strafer.
The Strafer. And then we've printed... Oh, yeah, actually, that's what's on the printer right now. Those finished overnight. I've got
the cloning thing?
Yeah, the parts for the cloning array. So the cloning array parts are actually on the printer now, and I'll need to go back there and get those cleaned up. And then you can clip the supports off of those and so forth. Let's see, what am I thinking of? Yeah. So that will be that batch of stuff for this run of Scout Ship Kickstarter packages. So I've got to run some more hull extension modules and hull extension modules, weapon modules. I think there is that. The weapon module that you were asking me about is in there, that's packaged up.
Yeah.
So that's ready to go. So then next week, we'll start working on, I think out of that batch of stuff, all we have left to run is the
Get Bots and the Alani tail thing.
Yeah, the Alani tail gunner and the Get Bots. So, your llama. Okay, I'm actually glad that you asked about that.
Get in line, buddy. Get in line.
let's see. Let's take a look at that llama, because I know I've got it on here somewhere. So let's see. We'll go to. Where are you? You're in. Sidekicks. Yeah.
Demon llama.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the list. It's I don't have a camera on that list right now, but it is on the list. And so okay, there we go. I guess in each one of these screens I've got to add the microphone into that. So, okay. So are you guys hearing me now? Because it looks like I've got audio level on it now. Okay, great. Okay, yeah, confirmation. We got audio. Yay. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So what I was talking about was we'll look at those again. The this is the size of a llama, so we're looking at about 30 millimeters or so to the top of the head, and this would be about chest height at the shoulder. So then the difference between an alpaca, which is kind of a cute little fuzzy llama, and an actual llama is proportions and some size differences on that for sure. This is an adult alpaca, so that's about as big as they get. But anyway, so I wanted to look at those references, and so that's kind of what I worked out on this. I think there's like an armature reference here so that I could see, well, this is how big the thing is actually gonna turn out. So I may need to scale him down just a little bit, but I just want to make sure that when I'm sculpting the legs on this and when it's cast, that they're kind of thick enough to hold up the miniature so that it doesn't flex and break or anything like that. So I want to make sure it's robust. So but anyway, but that's where I've left off on that. So so let's look at a couple of other things. Let's see, we'll go back over to llama cosplay. Here's the work that I'm working on destroys nulls. So we've gotten a little bit of that done, and I had to work out some details and stuff on the tentacles. So right here, this is clearly an unfinished tentacle. But how that works is, let's look at this. So let's see. So I've got this cool tentacle brush that I kind of set up, and depending on what your settings are, you can adjust the size of it and draw out a tentacle. And the cool thing about that is that you can adjust the position, or change the pose, or move the tentacle around depending on where you want it to oop, that's not what I wanted. Where you want it to go. So once that tentacle is placed, if I can quit drawing that, okay. Then I can split it out as its own part. And so here you can see it's pretty low resolution. It's pretty rough. So then if I wanted to smooth it out, I can just divide that mesh into more parts. There's the mesh. So you can see all the little squares on it now. So the patches, or vertices, or whatever you want to call them. Then what I can do is I can texture that. Let's see. Let's go over to pick that brush. Go. Where's my? Let's see. Where's my brush with the Edo texture on it? Yeah, here we go. Okay. So then once I get the tentacle laid out like what I want, then I can just actually sort of drag this texture onto it. And the texture that I've got here, that I'm using to sort of detail out these tentacles, is very similar to the sponge technique that I was using on the actual practical Edo that I sculpted in putty. So what I would do is when I was sculpting those, I would make the tentacles straight. I would roll out a little piece of putty with a wire in it. And because the putty that I was using Procreate, it was flexible. So what I would be able to do is I could make straight tentacles and roll out all of the texture onto them. And then once the putty cured, I could actually bend the wire, and the putty would form around it, and it would create, these curves and stuff in this shape that would have the texture all along the tentacle. And that's actually when Brett and I, back in the day, before we first started, working on Counterblast, and we were trying to figure out how to make Edo tentacles and stuff, he actually was the one that came up with the idea of like rolling the tentacles out straight, onto a piece of thing. And so I thought, oh, okay, well that'll work. So I took that idea and then went and did some other stuff with it. So once the tentacles are textured or whatever like this, then I've got another little brush that I created. And let me load that. And that's the sucker brush. So then I can go and then just drag these like low poly suckers along the length of, where I want them to go onto the tentacle. And, you can work your way around and, create a whole series of tentacles like that. Now you can see that it's like, well, these, because they're low res, you know, they're very mechanical looking. So then what I would have to do is I would select this object and then select these tentacles, or the suckers, and then split those off onto their own group. Then I could go over and divide them and kind of make them a little bit more organic looking. And the cool thing about that is that I can group them so they're all their own group now. And if I need to, then I can go and say, for example, I don't like where this particular sucker is. So I can select it and then select my little move tool and adjust it or whatever if I need to for this particular sucker. So, or if I need to make it a little bigger, then I can enlarge it and all that. And then I have this whole, you know, array of suckers attached to the tentacle on that. Now, to get to this point, if I was sculpting this practically, like I did this in just a couple of minutes, but if I was making this tentacle in putty, this would take an hour to do, you know, because I would have to roll out, you know, all of the tentacles, and then that part would have to cure. And then I would take those and pose those tentacles, and then I would have to go back and individually take a little tiny piece of putty and you know, place it along the length of the tentacle, and then put the little sucker indentation into it, and so forth. And so all of the suckers that are on all of those Ito models from back in the day, those were all, you know, I had to make each little sucker on there individually. And even though I'm kind of doing that, you know, here, it goes a lot faster, and I can, you know, I can adjust them, you know, a little bit easier. So I hope that was interesting. But that's basically what it took a while to kind of work out how I was going to do that. So I could kind of get on with getting our new Ito models done. So here's the same thing, and Destroys Nulls has kind of this unique. I made this arc rifle for him, and he's going to be the only one that has this particular arc rifle, because a character like that, you know, they're going to need their own custom gear. So he's outfitted with that. But what I need to do is I've got all of these other tentacles that I've kind of worked out, like sort of how I want them to go, and it's Slishy.
Is that David?
No,
No, that's...
but David Pinnock always comes up with Slishy for the Ito, yeah.
Slish on.
Right. So yeah, I'll have to go back and work through those other tentacles and get those sorted out, but he's coming along, and now I'll probably have to repose some of them, because I just placed them in there as kind of a placeholder right now, but I'll kind of figure out. Hey, yeah, it's a Dave thing. It's all the Daves know that the Ito are Slishy.
I get it.
Let's see what else I'm working on. Let's look at, what else do you guys want to see? Let's see.
Yeah, more Shrenar. Me too.
More Shrenar.
More Shrenar. Hopefully that's coming up.
Okay. They might be able to hear you a little bit better now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've added the microphone to the webcam.
Oh.
From the webcam over there to
So
this.
I wasn't in the.
No, this microphone was actually picking you up, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. So this is kind of cool for us because this is the first opportunity for us to put all this gear together again and kind of see how it's going to work for live streaming. Some of this I had left over from the movie thing that we did. Oh, you guys want to see the war rocket? Okay, let me open that up.
That's going to be the last batch of stuff that goes out.
Let's see. Let me see which one it is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hopefully I'm not the only one that likes Renar. But yes, I'm rather fond of them.
Okay. Yeah. Let's see. Here's kind of a walkthrough. This is basically the unique module that was made for the war rocket. The upper hull. Actually, I'll have to go back and break these apart because we discovered that these pieces wouldn't mold.
Yeah.
Like as a full piece. So
we had a lot of problems.
And
with
it has to do with the deck, like the thickness of the deck on the bottom piece. It's like it took a lot of R&D in order to get that to work. So I had to split it along these panel lines, and so these are all individual panels that, like, you know, it's a model kit, so you'll have to model kit it together when you get it.
But it
So,
works. It works. It worked out really well.
Yeah.
Breaking them apart at the seams, literally.
Yeah.
It worked. It worked out really well. So.
But where's the? Oh, okay. So. Okay, we'll just put it on the deck. Okay, all right. There's the top. Now the top hull piece is already because it's modular. It's like that's already part of the weapon hull module. So it's like I just ported that over. But when we were running the Kickstarter project, I got some requests for like, well, if we're going to do the war rocket thing, then there needs to be like a balcony that you can put the models on, so they can shoot with their ray guns and that sort of thing. So I created these little bulkheads that just basically sit inside the hull, and they line up. Let me move that turret so we can see that a little bit better. Okay. So these bulkheads just line up on the inside, and there's like a little pressure door, I guess, to go in and out. So you don't want to be out there, if you're in the vacuum of the ether or whatever. But there should be enough room, and I think I tested it with Brack. There should be enough room to put, models. You should be able to put at least 3 guys in there lined up on that. So we might, once I get some other characters and stuff done with little blasters and that sort of thing, then you can kind of see, it'll fit a little bit better. But let's see, this is I think this is the print. No, that's the main file. So let's go back over to, let me open up the other file and we can get a better look at some of the other parts.
That's the dark one.
Huh?
Sorry, I'm talking to myself.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, let's see. Yeah, Brack's on a 25 millimeter base. So, I think there's enough room in there. If you had a couple of guys on 30mm bases, they should fit. Because it's you're only talking about another 5mm on the size of that. Let's load up. We'll load up the ship and see if it doesn't choke. Because I kind of have to break it down into sections. Yeah, it's running slow. There we go. There we go. Okay, so you can see that this is the model. Oop. Yeah, this is the model before I had actually cut the openings and stuff into those modules for the balcony areas. So let's see if we can turn some of this stuff off and get a look at some of the components. Yeah. Okay. So here's the inside of it. Basically, this is the bridge section. So, and I'll have to go back and confirm the placement of these bulkheads and so forth, because I know that some of that stuff changed. For the decks changed because I had to make them a little bit thicker, and I had to create keys and stuff so they wouldn't slide around on the inside of the ship. So. So this is all where this was left off for the renders on the Kickstarter project. So what's going to happen between now and printing these parts out, for the production, is I'm going to have to tweak some stuff on it to make sure that the modular parts all fit, like the other scout ship did. So they'll actually be compatible. So if you wanted to take this bridge section and put that on the front of your other scout ship kit, it'll work. So because all of the middle sections on it, like this part right here, this is basically just the passenger hull module, which we made as an extension for the scout ship kit. So this section allows for you to put the you could put seats, the bench seats along the inside of it, or if you wanted to put storage, cargo and stuff down in this. These are actually the cargo ramps, and let me see if that's so these are still the same cargo ramps that are on that passenger hull module. So we just kind of incorporated that into this segment of the war rocket itself. I'm going to close those. And then these are just two placeholder hull module extensions, so that I could determine the spacing and so forth on where the new fins and the hulls were going to, or the other hull sections were going to go. So really the new parts on this are the rocket booster, thing on the back, the tail cone section, and then this dorsal fin. And so I'm going to wind up having to, I believe I've got, and I think it's already split. I'd have to look. But this is probably going to wind up having to be two pieces, just, for it to print and to get it to mold properly. So let's see. Where are there's the fin mount. There's the fin plugs. Oh, the wings. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, let's turn off all this stuff. Okay. So like these wing sections, I had to model those to where those are also 2 pieces. So this is pretty much how and it's not going to be keyed. So you know, when you glue that together, you'll just have to kind of place it on the hull where it's going to go. Is it that one? Yeah. So you can kind of see here that I've got it arranged to where it'll fit kind of in this area, but it's really up to you where you want to place these fins along there, because the curvature of how it fits onto the hull itself, it's centered, along this axis. So you could put these fins basically anywhere on the hull at all, and it would still work. It'll still fit with a nice, seal around it. And that's one of the reasons why I didn't want to key it. Plus, I didn't want to have to make custom panels and run additional molds just to key these particular fins in also. And I think just running a big, line of super glue along that and attaching them on there would be fine. Or if you're really industrious and you want to swap those parts out yourself, you can actually magnetize all of this stuff. Where it's like you could put magnets in the fins, and then you could put magnets along the section of the hull, and then you could either take them off or put them on, however you wanted to do it. So it actually lends itself, to a little bit more options that way, for the end user than, if I had gone in and said, well, you can, you got to build it with this or that, so. But anyway, there's still a lot of work to do on that to get it production ready. The other nice thing about it being modular and so forth is that this, I've just got to run, a set of those fins and then run the molds, because it's mirrored. It's the same fin that's on, either side. So. There we go. Yeah, and the landing gear still works the same way. So what I got to figure out. I got to figure out how to, engineer the front part of the hull or whatever for the landing gear on that. All right. Well, how's it looking out there? Are you guys still out in the chatmosphere?
Brandon and Dave are there. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to get a little placeholder there. Let's see. I'm going to switch back over to the thing, and then I'm going to see if I can load up something that's a little bit lighter. How's the cat coming over there?
Oh, he's coming along.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Can you when you get to a point, can you hold him up to the camera?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would imagine that'd probably be like a lot of magnets, depending on how you want to kit out your ship, and what options you're going to have. I think I ordered a bundle of like little 3mm magnets for something else, and I think they were like $6 or $7. So, it shouldn't be too bad to do the whole thing. So, but it's designed so that
Where?
you can, huh? Oh, there's Major Tom.
Can you see him?
Yeah, kind of. Oh, you can see the camera up there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't see him on my. I'm not seeing him on my.
You're not
thing.
seeing him on yours.
Nope. Where is he? See? Oh, there he is.
Yeah, there you go.
There he is. It's like a delay or something.
Yeah, there is there because it's going out to the stream and then it's coming back to your iPad and there's just a delay. You know, like for live broadcast. I don't think it's 7 seconds, but you know, but there is a delay on it.
There he is.
Yeah.
Can you
But yeah,
see?
no, he's coming along. Look at that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting spacified.
Nice.
That a lot, probably. A lot of magnets.
A lot of magnets. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I was trying to think of what else I had been working on that you guys might want to see. We're coming up on 10 o'clock here, so this will be our first hour, and so I'm not sure how much further we're going to run onto that. Any new babes? Let's see. Do I have any new babes in the works? I don't think so. Oh, well.
The Valkyrie on the horse.
Yeah. Let me show you on that because that's probably going to be the next babe thing that comes out. So let me open that up real quick and I'll show you that. Let's see, that's over in. Okay. Let me see if I can find that real quick, and we'll take a look at that. Because actually, I do have some babes that are still pending out there, and yeah, okay. So this is the Garahode model that I did on Patreon, and let's see if I can grab that base. Yeah, there she is. So this is her on the winged horse. So that will be coming up. I think I just sent a picture, another render of that out in our last, our last email, mailing list email, as coming soon. So that's coming up. We've got,
Got 3 chickadees.
Yeah, we got the chibis. I'm going to put those on here in a minute. See, I don't know. I don't know that I'll be able to load them because those are really big files. I've got to go in and tweak them. But I can show you the superhero babes too, because those are coming up too.
Oh, I forgot about them.
So. Okay, well there's my starting armature, and that's for Ember. That's one of the ones that I was gonna do next. But let's go ahead and load up. Okay, so here's Earthquake. So and that's a 40 millimeter base that she's on, so she's quite a bit bigger. And I've already got prints of Earthquake done, so she's going to be coming as one of our little superhero team set that we're going to put out. I know that Savage Worlds had a Kickstarter for their Supers supplement book for the role-playing game, and we've been kind of thinking about coming up with some stats for these characters that would be suitable for Savage Worlds with their superpowers, using the superpowers book, and then putting a PDF out there, with their stats. So we do, a little PDF page with the stats for Earthquake, and then let's see, the next one that I've got is Kestrel, and so she's kind of got that Birds of Prey kind of vibe. And this one has already been printed. I've got production prints of this ready to go to mold. So, and the texture on her suit with this little hex weave pattern and so forth, and the ribbing and stuff on there, that was a lot of fun to do, because I got to use alpha maps to create those textures and stuff. That's something that you can't do in putty or as effectively. So that printed out super nice, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to be painted up. So we'll talk about Patreon here in just a minute, because I'll tell you where we're going with that. But then our other superhero that I've gotten done is Wavefront, and Wavefront is kind of a Aqua Girl sort of character. So let's see, is this her with the base? Yeah. So that's what Wavefront would look like. So she's coming up out of the water and splashing and so forth. I don't think this is the one that's painted. No. Okay. So so I haven't painted that one yet. Printed it. So I'll get that keyed and sprued up to print. And what were you helping with? Oh, with the stats for the Savage World stuff. Did you guys back the Kickstarter? Did you get the PDF, or are you waiting on the book? Because I know the last update from Tentacle on that was the books are on the ship, on its way from China. So who knows when that's going to get here? But I did get the PDF with that. So okay, cool. Yeah, that's great. Then we'll talk about that off chat to work up some stats or whatever for the superhero girls, because I think that would be really fun, and kind of create an incentive, for marketing them, aside from just like, ooh, look, it's a cool superhero sculpt. So so we'll definitely talk about that. Let's see.
And it's isn't it our intention, like with these new counterblast things that are going to come out before the Savage Worlds Kickstarter, we're going to do little beta stat sheet PDF things for them?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we were talking about?
Yeah, that's one of the things that we were kind of test driving on
with the Edo Strider.
With the Edo Strider. So with that, what did we work up? We worked up Savage World stats, we worked up Counterblast stats, which
from 2.0.
Yeah, exactly. So with the Edo Strider, and if you guys haven't seen that, I can load that for you too. And then we'll talk about Patreon and my mini factory here in just a second. But let's see. But yeah, okay. So we had worked out. Well, these are the stats that that we think that it would have for counterblast, and then you had gone in and taken a bunch of that stuff and looked at Savage Worlds and started working out the stats for like the abilities for Savage Worlds. See, I don't know if I've got a full one of those or not. Okay. Okay, I'm just trying to find these files real quick. Let's see where I wanted to show you these. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah, it seems like there's a delay, with the loop.
Yeah.
Getting out and getting back, because Vicky's watching the stream as it's broadcasting over on her iPad, and there's a distinct delay.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a delay on it, so.
Yeah. So that's just something that we'll have to take into account in future broadcasts, I guess. So, Yep. Okay. So there's our Edo Strider model. Yeah. And so, Vicky had worked up some rules, and we sent those out to Frank, so he could kind of, tweak what he wanted in order to make sure that the points values and stuff were aligned on it and all this. So I've still got some formatting to do on that, and then we'll put the PDF out. But we've got that, and I think there's stuff for Savage Worlds.
Yeah, there's a beta. Mm-hmm. There's a beta Savage Worlds thing.
Yep.
Version of it, but
and then I've got
there's the 2.0 version that Frank looked over and stuff, and then I think we even. I don't know if we did the finished the Conflict 47.
I did, and I put the one for Conflict 47 here. I'll kind of zoom in on this a little bit. I put that out there for the guys to take a look at over on the Conflict 47 group, and so they looked at some of the things, made some suggestions, and I tweaked it a little bit, and then I need to. The changes that I made, I needed to go ahead and post it again and get some, get another round of suggestions and stuff on it. Yeah, before we actually just, post the PDF for download and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should be able to put these guys together. And I kind of want to convert some of the other Edo models to Conflict 47 if we can. And then you can run a whole force of squiddies over in your Weird War K-47 stuff.
Yeah.
As proxies for other things. So and do kind of a War of the Worlds type of deal. And I may talk with John Russell. It just depends. I may talk with him about that in a bit to see about running that at a show and taking it for a test drive and seeing how well the Edo do against U.S. forces and all of that, you know, and see if they can be slish-tacular. So, let's see. Okay. War Strider, is the STL from the Kickstarter much different from the latest production piece? Just thinking it's about time to get that bad boy printed. Yeah, it is. And if you backed the Babes and Bots Kickstarter,
Bikes and Bots.
Bikes and Bots Kickstarter project, yeah, boy, gotta keep that straight. If you back that and you downloaded the STL files, if you go back to your login on the web store, so like if you go to the web store and go up to sign in, okay, then you know, I gotta wonder if, let's see, is that in there? No. Okay, let me see if I can get something and I'll show you where it is. Let's see. I go through our go through the back door of our web store here and see if I can take a look at it and see if I can show you that. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I hate that two-step verification thing.
Oh man, is it asking you that again?
Yeah. Which I don't have that up right now, so I've got to load that too. So, and of course, because we're streaming, everything is like really slowed way down. So, okay. So, particularly internet things. Hey, I just wanted to let you guys know out there on the streams that when I was logging into our email to verify this login for the web store, we've got John Blanche had actually sent us an email that I need to look at over on the support. And if you guys don't know who John Blanche is, then you need to go back and look at your first edition Rogue Trader 40K book and look at the credits on that. So I'm not sure why he's wanting to contact us about anything, but I hope it's good news.
Yeah, I hope it's not something bad.
Yeah.
I don't know what it could be.
Okay. All right, I'm almost in there. Let's see. Oh, he was trying to place an order in the web store. So John Blanche was going to order stuff from us in the web store. So yeah, I'll probably want to address that, but and see what's going on there. So he said his card kept getting declined, so I wonder if it's a networking thing.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out and see. But okay, so let's go to login, and I'll show you guys what this. Okay, yeah, here we go. Okay, so we'll go back over here. All right, so like if you log into your web store account, and it'll show if you have a credit left over from the Kickstarter or not. But if you go into your orders, okay, in the order section, if you've ordered anything digital from us before, whether it's Kickstarter rewards or you just download an STL file, okay, it's going to be in your order section in the web store. So you can click on this link right here, and that'll take you to your download section. Now, so here's all of the files that are available for that Scout Ship bundle, right? Because we did the Scout Ship, which is all the core parts, which includes the hull sections and the drives and the accessories like the core and the landing gear and all that stuff. Plus, it's going to be all these stretch goals. So you get the little tactical, the mini ship, you get the sensor package with all these radar dishes and all that stuff. So all of these STL files are in here. Okay, so what you want to do is, now I've already the updates that I made to the interior of the Edo Strider, the War Strider, those were really the only updates that I made. I added some details and stuff to the interior of it. Plus I think I keyed the top part of it to fit on. So yeah, so there's a few little tweaks there. But all you have to do is go back and log into the web store and go to this section, and then you should be able to download the new Edo file. Because if you go in to that section in the heavy support part, and the file that's in there now is the updated one. So anytime I'm going to update a file, I will automatically create an update in there, and then you can just go in and download that file again, and it'll have the updates and so forth in it. So you should be able to just go ahead and grab that and print away on it. Or if you don't have a printer, we've got them in resin too. So, but that's how to get to that. Is all of those STL files will be listed in your order from when you selected your rewards stuff on the Kickstarter. And don't worry about trying to write to Wanda Whitestar at this PO box address anymore, because that's not an actual PO box. But I had to set that up in there for as a test customer. So but anyway, yeah, so there we've got that, and let's take a look real quick at my mini factory. So this is our page over on my mini factory. So we've got our web store here with here's where these are the most recent STL files that we've published over on my mini factory, and I think the last collections are the Cyber Zulus, which are these, and the Warbirds.
Man, we're way behind.
Right. So okay, so these are the collections that we have. So these are the Babes 4. Yeah, those are the Babes 4 STL files, the figures from that Kickstarter project. And then we started putting the Patreon stuff over there, starting with January of 2020. Yeah. So that whole collection of Monster Babes was the first month, and that's just going to show me the object. It's not going to be the collection. Okay.
Oh, that's not the one.
All right, so then this was February, March, April, May, and June. Yeah. And then July and August. So we still have the superheroes to put in there, and the and then let's see. Oh, we've got a little set of the Lovecraft stuff, the detectives that I did. There's a couple of Aboleth monsters that are pretty cool. We'll put those in there. So that stuff needs to be uploaded, and we're behind on updating that stuff. Well, I mean, one, we're behind on stuff because we're working on trying to get the Kickstarter thing finished for the scout ship. But the other thing about it is that we had limited bandwidth, to be able to upload, huh?
Yeah, we had to get the internet squared away.
Yeah, we had to get the internet stuff working. So now we've got, unlimited data every month to where we can go and start uploading these files and pictures and stuff that we're behind on, so that you guys can have access to those. So we'll be putting them over here on our My Mini Factory page and on our own web store, in the STLs section. So if you want to know where that is, and there again, that's a matter of, I got to go back and update this menu because it's out of control and all that. But if you go down to the bottom here, there's digital STL files in the menu on our web store, and if you click on that, it'll just take you to the STL category. So there's all the current STL files that we have right now. We've got 3 other chibi models that you can see. These are the chibis that we've released previously. These are all sculpted by Heriberto Valle Martinez and Chad Overder. So Chad sculpted Chibi Rania and Adelaide, and then Heriberto sculpted the other ones for us. And then I've got one more Chad sculpt and
Candy.
Candy, Candy, the little sniper on skates, and then we've got 2. I've got
Kai and Teppy
Alatla from Heriberto.
Yep.
So yeah, but I've got to go in and tweak those files and get those print ready before I can upload those. So that's what we're working on next, to get the chibis and stuff caught up. But like a lot of this stuff that's in the web store over here now, like we've got the Niran Clan Sisters and the Edalisks and all this type of stuff, and Dr. Zardov and everything. See, we've got that over there on our web store, but we want to migrate that over to My Mini Factory also, so that we've got, we can do like a little collection over there that's got the counterblast stuff, and it's like, and depending on how we can coordinate or organize it, I'd like to be able to do a counterblast section over there where it's like, well, you can get STLs of like the Edo stuff and all the different little either faction types or whatever. So so that's coming. So we'll be able to get caught up on that. But as far as Patreon goes, I had to cancel doing the Patreon thing over on Patreon because we were doing fulfillment and production on the Scout Ship Kickstarter project. So now that we're getting towards, there's just a few items left that we need to finish in order to fulfill that. And the last 3 things, they're pretty big, but we have a lot of molds made for the rocket ship, the war rocket already, because those modules are modular. Basically, that's why they're called modules, right? So if I've already got a lot of that stuff done, then really the only thing left to make on that for the war rocket are the unique parts that go to the war rocket. So once we get through finishing the Alani drives and the tail gun section for the main scout ship kit as an add-on, and then the little Gentbot set that we had for the crew set, then we'll put those into production, and then the war rocket pieces, we can go ahead and print those and cast them and so forth to get the rest of that sent out. So that's what our pipeline is looking like, or our schedule is looking like right now. And then what we'll be able to do is, once we get all of those STL files test printed and uploaded to the web store for the Kickstarter fulfillment, then we will migrate those files also over onto My Mini Factory, so that if you missed out on the Kickstarter project, then you'll be able to go over there and either purchase those STL files and download them, put them in your library and so forth. And then what I've been working on behind the scenes, now that I've got a little bit more room to work out on the internet, I've been working on the back end over on and creating a tribes section over on my mini factory. So rather than starting back up on Patreon, I'm going to go ahead and close that out, and I'm going to migrate all of our patrons over there so that, like, if you were downloading our files before on Dropbox from the links on Patreon, which was kind of this convoluted process, now if you have an account over on my mini factory, what I'm going to do is go in and set up each one of the months from the previous Patreon so that you'll still have those files, so that if something happens to your computer where you either didn't download them on the Patreon thing during that month, or if you deleted them or lost, or your computer crashed or something, you just don't have those files anymore, then you'll be able to log into your My Mini Factory account, and all of those files will be in your library on the My Mini Factory platform. And Brandon was asking about tribes, and so what I did was I am part of the tribes beta test, and because we just haven't had the opportunity to go in and set it up yet, just because of limitations, I've gone in and I've been working with one of the reps over there to get that system set up. So I'm kind of building a new tribes thing, so that when I release new counterblast models, say for example, there's going to be like three little, a set of three, well, like the Clan Sisters, for example. Like if I was working on that as new, then like as a subscriber that month, you might be able to download the Clan Sister set early for your subscription price or whatever. But I've got to look at how that's all going to work, and if I would be able to keep that as a schedule or whatever, or work enough ahead to where it wouldn't cause any problems, because we're already planning on making those models anyway, and I know that we want to do a lot of, and fill out a lot of the counterblast stuff, particularly for the project that we had been talking about working on for Savage Worlds. So there's still a lot of work going on behind the scenes on that. So yes. So Brandon, to answer your question, I have been considering tribes, and but it's still a ways out from. I mean, we're not going to be launching that anytime soon, but it's in the works. So I've just been having to try to figure out how that's going to work with our schedule and what's going on with production here. So anyway, well, it looks like we're coming up on 10:30, so I think we're kind of probably wind up wrapping up this week's show, unless you guys have any other questions real quick that you want me to cover. Yeah. So the question is let me switch back over to that so you guys can actually see the chat. Did that? There we go. Okay. Yeah. So Brandon was asking about if that would work better than Patreon did, and it does. The benefit of Patreon is that you could set it up to where, like, I know that a lot of STL creators usually have it on a monthly schedule, where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to sculpt this many models, and then I'm going to put it out on Patreon, for the subscribers. Then they can download it, the month or two or however long it takes before it goes over to, for general sale. And that works great if you've got either a backlog of models, or you've got you worked far enough ahead that it's like, okay, well, if something happens, which inevitably it does, there's going to be delays regardless of what's going to, what you're doing. Is that, will I be able to keep up with that schedule? So will I be able to have enough models to put, on Patreon, for each month. And that was the problem that I ran into before, is that I couldn't keep up with the schedule because of all of the other production things that were going on here. It's like, well, not only do I have to sculpt these models every month for Patreon, but I also have to do molding and casting and printing and blah, 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 and admin stuff and whatever else that goes on around here. And, scooping out the cat boxes and just, all of that stuff. So, so it became very difficult to keep up with. But Patreon has a function that allows you to only take subscription payments when you upload content. Okay, so for example, it's like, well, if 3 months go by, and that's like if I'm working on a bundle of stuff, then when I publish that, yeah, litter boxes times 5 now.
Yeah.
So
we added to that.
Well, now wait a second. There's only 3 cats. Let me. The 2 of us don't use the litter box, so it's really just the cats.
That's a different kind of litter box.
Yeah, that's a different kind of litter box. That's all underground out here under the thing, the septic system. But okay, but so with the Patreon payment system, it's like, well, you could set it up as a creator to where it's like, well, like if I was a musician and it's like, well, I only want to put, I only want my subscribers to pay for the content once I put my little album out. So once I have like an album or an EP, I've got so many songs, then you can download them, but I'm going to show, hey, me working on them for 3 months, and then you get to, so you only get charged for this stuff like when the content is uploaded. Well, Patreon has that function, but I don't know. See, that's one of the reasons why I haven't, looked any or said, yeah, we're going to do the tribes thing, because I need to look and see what kind of options and stuff they have on that. Because right now, as far as it goes, it's like, well, it's like, well, every month is going to be like $10, and you got to get your thing. And it's like, well, I had trouble keeping up with that schedule before because of the other stuff that's going on around here. So if my mini factory on their tribes setup has a way to only charge patrons like when there's new creative content available for download, like here's this bundle, then that may work. But what does work better, and what I was really attracted to as far as moving everything over to that platform, is the back end architecture, where I don't have to do a lot of the stuff as far as like keeping the files on Dropbox and making sure that all the links to the files worked, and setting up posting, oh hey, here's here's how to get the thing and the password. And it took a lot of admin to make sure that and every month it's like, well, here's this batch and then here's this batch. And so the way that it's set up over on my mini factory is that if you have an account over there and you've either backed one of their little crowdfunding things, or you've bought STL files from anybody. So I've bought some STL files from a few people. There's 3 or 4 in there that I got just for reference. Then I can always go back to my library and look at that, and it's like, well, there they are. I can download them at any time, or not download them. I mean, like if I'm limited on disk space, I can just keep them out there on the library until I get ready to print the thing, and then download it, print them, and then delete them off of my own local drive. And it's like, and I know I've seen posts over in the 3D forums from some of the printers over there that's like, I've got 200 gigabytes of or a terabyte. There was one guy that had filled up a 1 terabyte drive of nothing but STL files, and they're not that big. I mean, you're talking about like JPEG sized files, and I was like, that's a lot of STLs. So if you're trying to manage libraries like that, keeping it out on something like my mini factory, man, that's the way to go. Because you can see exactly what you have, and get to it, when you need to. So to me, it's the maintenance on it is a lot less, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to migrate over to that platform. So, so that's in the works too. Yeah, but anyway, okay. So it looks like we're probably gonna wrap up this episode. And this has been, let's see, I don't even know what today is. Today is Saturday, February the 26th. Okay. So, just a little bit about what's coming up. Vicki and I are also working on another show, which will be On the Workbench. And I kind of previewed a little bit of that here, where it's like, well, we're going to be sculpting or putting models together. She's going to be painting and all of that kind of thing. So it'll be like a little hangout workbench thing. And we may have guests on. So if I can figure out how to get other streaming things, I've got some space here in between the little chat box and the and down here we can put some more cameras up, or some more little camera boxes, and have other folks come on. So we'll let you guys know when we're talking about doing that show, and then I've also got another show that I'll be doing. I think our schedule is going to be once a month. And I talked with the other sculptors, Bill Thornhill, who's he's got a Patreon, and I'll see if I can link all of this stuff later on in the description, depending on what I can do on Twitch. This is going to also wind up over on our YouTube channel once it's exported. So I'll try to get you guys links for this, but Bill Thornhill and Tom Mason and I are going to do a sculpting show together, and that'll be coming up sometime in March. And so you'll probably see links and posts and stuff about that. So if you liked hanging out with us today, and you want some more information about what's going on, then come back and check out our Saturday morning cereal, and hopefully you can have some cereal too. So. Did you have anything that you wanted to add before we sign off today?
Thanks, everybody.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we appreciate you coming and chatting with us. So,
yep,
we
it's our link to the outside.
Yes, it's our link to the outside world. So,
yep.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, and I guess we will see you guys next week. And hey, Dave, say hi to Tom for me later today. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Y'all take care.